Good morning and welcome. 환영합니다 to Sunday morning Dharma service. We're so happy to have you here with us today. And so happy to have our local community here and our online community visiting at home. So, did you have a nice Independence Day? Is it loudly? Yeah? Fireworks? So, I wanted to share with you as we start today's practice a little bit of our Declaration of Independence. So, this is July 4th, 1776. That's what we celebrate, our Independence Day, the independence of our country. So the beginning, one part of our declaration says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, and I'm changing one word, that all genders are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And at the end, it says, and for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. So today, as we practice together, we celebrate our interdependence, and we practice by giving our sacred honor to each other in the pursuit of freedom. And we will also hear a talk by Reverend Yu the title is The Wisdom That Leads to Freedom. So let us begin our practice today by making 4 bows. So to the Ilwon song, our Dharmakaya Buddha. So please rise. So please bring your palms together and to your chest. And we stand before Ilwon song, our one circle image that represents, it's a symbol that represents our freedom, our interdependence. And we bow to the 4 graces. We bow in gratitude to the grace of heaven and earth, honoring the infinite beneficence of nature and the universe. We bow in gratitude to the grace of parents that gave birth to us, those that raised us, our ancestors, our teachers, and all of those who have had a guiding influence in our journey. We bow in gratitude to the grace of fellow beings, recognizing and honoring the truth of interconnectedness. And we bow in gratitude to the grace of laws, those that guide us, protect us, and promote justice. Good morning. Take a moment to make your bows to your neighbor Buddhas with your beautiful smiles and say good morning. And then you may be seated. Take a moment to settle in your seat, and Patty will lead us in the method of a seated meditation.
The method of sitting meditation is simple and easy. Sit comfortably on the floor or in a chair. Breathe in, grab all your tension, and breathe it out. Open up your chest and heart. Stretch up tall and align your spine from your neck to your tailbone. Relax your shoulders and arms, and allow your hands to rest on your knees. Bring your attention to your breath. As you exhale, Release all mental and physical tension. Invite your attention to abide in your chi energy field, which is called Danjan. This is located about 2 inches below your navel and is the power center for your breathing. Open your eyes and gaze downward over the end of your nose and to the floor. Keep your mouth closed and allow the tip of your tongue to rest gently against the roof of your mouth. When your mind is concentrated and calm, pure and clear saliva may gather in the mouth. You may swallow it. Relax your facial muscles and notice your gentle smile. If your face or body begins to itch, do not scratch. This is just a sign of the energy circulating in your body. Simply note the itching and let it pass. If your legs ache unbearably, you may change position very slowly and quietly so that you maintain a calm stillness and do not interrupt others. When thoughts arise in your mind, don't be discouraged or disturbed by them. Simply focus on your breathing without reacting to or playing with those thoughts. Recognize them as thoughts. They will disappear by themselves. And remember, keep bringing your awareness back to your Danjan breathing center. If you continue practicing meditation for a long period of time, you will rest in the realm of samadhi, deep meditation, in which the mind is calm, concentrated, perfectly focused, and at peace, with no distinction between self and others, time and place. We are grateful to sit quietly together, finding the still point within. May we be here now, aware of our ever calm and alert spirit.
So now we will dedicate the merit of our practice with our hearts and minds to support the victims of the earthquakes in Venezuela. And in One Buddhism, we have what's called a World Disaster Relief Fund, which means that anywhere there is suffering in the world, we meet that suffering with compassion in practical ways and with prayer. So let us open our booklets to chant our spiritual chant, Yangju, on page 3, and after we will read the prayer for world peace. Please bring your palms together.
영천 영지 아심정 만사여의 아심통 천지여와 동일체 하여 천지 동심정 천지연기 아심정 만사여의 아심통 천지여와 동일체 하여 천지
Now we'll read the prayer for world peace all together. Grace of heaven and earth, grace of parents, grace of fellow beings, grace of laws, O Dharmakaya Buddha, fourfold grace, may we take refuge in Dharma and be filled with compassion and wisdom. May we transform delusion into wisdom, greed into generosity, resentment into gratitude, discord into harmony, and hatred into compassion. May all nations grow and benefit mutually. May the strong help the weak, and may the weak learn and evolve according to Dharma. May all those who have died from world conflicts and disasters be delivered through all obstacles and be at rest. May there be peace throughout the world, and may all beings enjoy tranquility and happiness, living in their original true nature. This we pray with our whole hearts. And may all those who are suffering from the earthquakes in Venezuela be delivered from their suffering and be free from any pain. Now, please open up your booklets to pages 4 and 5, please, to chant the Ilwan Song Vow and the Heart Sutra led by John.
Ilwan Song Vow. Ilwan is the realm of samadhi beyond words and speech, the gateway people and sentient beings, manifest as both permanence and impermanence, view as permanence, the one unfolds into an infinite world that is ever abiding, spontaneous, just as it is viewed as impermanent, still one unfolds into infinite
take a moment to stretch our bodies. Let's stretch our arms up high. Reach. Taking a breath and release. And then let's take the neck, the head, and bring the left ear to the left shoulder, or vice versa, whichever. And the other way. And then we'll circle the head in one direction. And the opposite direction. And let's twist to one side. And you can look over your shoulder. And twist the other way. And then you can release your legs and make yourselves comfortable. Today, Reverend Yu will give us a Dharma talk, our teacher and retreat director. And the title of his talk is, like I said, The Wisdom That Leads to Freedom. Please bring your palms together to welcome him.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me from the back? Okay, yeah. Have you ever heard that the medical technique that was practiced in all the days, humorism? Humorism. So it's a blood-letting technique. Do you know how George Washington died? After he retired from office, from plantation, he supervised. He did some work at his plantation, and he rode back to his house on horseback. And he was caught in a very cold rain and snow in December. The next day, he had a terrible sore neck, throat, and fever. The next day, a couple of physicians came to his house, and humorism believes that humans' illness is caused by the imbalance of our bodily fluid, blood, phlegm, bile, and so on. So they believed for a very, very long time the cause of a fever and inflammation is a too excessive amount of blood in your body compared with the other fluids. So 4 times, physicians withdrew the blood of the George Washington. They say 40% of the whole his body's blood volume. So he became very weak. Immune system got really lowered, and the next day he died. Ignorance is a really dreadful thing. Dreadful thing. But luckily, in the area of science or technology, human knowledge is exponentially advancing and growing. But in the area of universal truth, our founding master divided human knowledge in 2 categories. 사, human affairs. 리, universal principles. Universal principle means the ultimate reality, like who we really are, where we have come from or go. In the area of universal principles, or 리, our knowledge is still very much limited. Why Buddha said that the most dreadful thing for humans is ignorance. It is because ignorance leads people to suffer. It's that simple. Our founding master, after he attained Great Enlightenment in 1960, this is his first Dharma words. All beings are essentially of one single nature, and all dharmas means all phenomenon, all things originate from one source. In this regard, the truth of neither arising nor ceasing and the karmic law of cause and effect, being mutually grounded in each other, form a perfect, clear, complete framework. Framework is the truth of Illunsang, the truth of oneness. God, or ultimate reality, has two faces. He has two aspects. The aspect of permanence and the aspect of impermanence, just as we chanted in the Illunsang, the unchanging area of the reality and changing aspect of the universal truth. Think about the clock. The hour and minute hands are constantly moving, but the length of one day remain always the same, 24 hours. Changing aspect and unchanging aspect. Changing aspect. The karmic principle of cause and effect. Ingwa, cause and effect is the translation of the ingwa, Chinese character. Ingwa, in means seed, cause. Gua literally means fruit. If it's not that super spiritual truth, it's a spiritual but very much scientific reality. When you plant apple seed, you harvest apple. When you plant pear seed, you harvest pear. Is that obvious? When you plant meritorious seed, create a blessing, you will receive blessings in your life. You plant unwholesome seed, for example, some dishonesty, then you will harvest unwholesome fruits. Cause and effect, ingwa. Sometimes they say yin yang gua. Do you know what yang means? When you plant the seed should be with some fertile soil, sunshine, and moisture. Without those indirect cause, the seed will not be transformed into fruit. So in short, it's called ingwa. Sometimes it's originally called in-yang-gua. In means direct cause, seed. Yan, indirect cause, like soil, sunshine, and so on. Some people might be a little suspicious. The karmic principle of cause and effect, it really working that precisely. Because if you do something dishonest, or if you do something meritorious things, in a couple of hours or the next day, you encounter some good or bad consequence, we will come to believe that very naturally. But the problem, the reality, there is a time lag. When you plant the seed, you have to wait until you harvest the fruit. So, but our founding master said, 허리도 틀림없이, not a hair's breadth of uncertainty. The law of cause and effect is working. It's not failing, not in the slightest, he emphasized. Pat, would you read the first verse? Yeah. That's from our founding master's word. Yeah, 대종경.
Verse 1.
Yeah, the first one.
The founding master said, the truth of the universe originally involves continuous circulation over and over again.
Yeah, not that handout. You can read that later. Yeah.
10. While Master Soda-san was staying at Panye Hermitage, a nearby hunter killed a wild boar. Hearing the animal's pitiful cries, he said, when one being gains benefit, another inevitably suffers harm. He then added, seeing the death of this wild boar, I can surmise the deeds it must have committed in the past. And seeing the hunter kill the boar today, I can also surmise what the hunter will face in the future.
Okay. Buddha said, even though you do not believe all my teaching, all practitioners need to believe it, the karmic law of cause and effect. So it's very sad to hear that from the news, really highly educated people embezzle their money or do something dishonest and so on. We, from the past, planted the karmic seed through our speech, through our thoughts, through our actions constantly in our mind or in others. Sometimes we encounter very difficult situations. It can be some difficult people or some challenging situation and so on, all kinds of adverse situations. How can we skillfully use that as our practice opportunity? One day, one of our founding master students was really humiliated by his friend. He was very mad. And he was so angry, seeing that our founding master said to him, when it's your turn to retaliate, just let it go. If you do so, that karma will come to rest. But if you retaliate now, then the other person will once again retaliate. And if you each go on retaliating in this manner, there will never be a day when this karma of mutual harm will cease. So he said, when we encounter some challenging situation, it is a great opportunity to purify our karma, to dissolve our karma. It could be by forgiving other person. It does not matter whether you did right or wrong. So Buddha said, By your practice of dana, generosity giving, what's the karmic consequence? Wealth, supportive relationship, and happiness. When you plant the seed of a loving kindness, then you will lead a life of peace and protection. When you respect your parents, the karmic consequence, long life and prosperity. If you meditate, the karmic consequence is immediate happiness or freedom here and now. If you cultivate wisdom, it could be just like listening to this Dharma talk or reading scripture or being involved in Dharma conversation. Then the cultivated wisdom will lead freedom from suffering. When you plant the seed, you will harvest the fruit. What is the seed? Ultimately, the seed is our mind, our thoughts, our choice. Our third head Dharma master, Venerable Daesan, said he defined mind practice in this way. Mind practice is the path to reshape, to change our destiny. Each and every person would like to change our life for the better. Yeah. The path is mind training, a spiritual path. So that's the moving aspect of the ultimate reality, the constant. The permanent aspect of the reality is like this one. One day, I heard one interview that sociopath, the serial killer, told to the reporter, he killed many people in a very brutal way. All humans die, including I and the victim. Why do I care? I didn't care. If I die, that's it. What's the big deal? That's sociopath said in that way. But the truth is, if we die, that's not it. We have countless life unfolding before us. It's just continuous, just like our consciousness is continuous. And we will harvest what we sow. My teacher told me the greatest foolishness of a human being is living the present life as if they will live forever. Let's suppose you heard from the doctor that you think you have a terminal stage cancer. You cannot live more than 1 month. What would you do? Isabel, what would you do? You will die after 3 months, 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Okay. How about John? Try to get rid of everything. Okay. One person. He's not painter. He said from the doctor he cannot live for 3 months. He thought about what he's supposed to do for the last 3 months. He decided He was not Christian. He thought to himself, I better paint the face of Jesus. It was his choice. He was not professional painter, but this turned out one of the most well-known portrait of Jesus. And I heard that he miraculously recovered from that cancer. On the deathbed, one Australian nurse in the hospice asked, but they're dying in a couple of weeks or months. What do you regret the most? She asked a lot of people, more than 100. Can you imagine? What do you think regular people regret the most? Yeah. Okay. These are very common things. I just worked and worked. I lived the life that other people want me to live, not the life I truly live. For some reason, for some personal gain, I lost my dear friend, and so on. So they are late. They are already on the deathbed in the hospice. But we are not late. Yeah? We are not late. So our founding message said, regular people's living is just like children's playing house. Let's say they play house on the beach, making some castle with the sand and so on. But when it's dark, they just go their home. He said, all day they move restlessly, as if they have important tasks. But they do so with a little purpose and nothing gain. So our founding master said, the most urgent thing for all humans is not doing or encouraging others to do some meritorious things for this society or for others. The most imperative thing is to believe, to realize, or at least believe in the truth of neither arising nor ceasing, means eternal life and the karmic law of cause and effect. So I think you have planted a lot of meritorious seed in the past. That's why you happen to be here. Yeah. So let's continue to plant very good seed so that we can harvest a wholesome fruit. Eventually, the Buddhahood. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Yu, for your wonderful wisdom. And he spoke about planting karmic seeds. So I want to tell you a little bit about karmic seeds. So do you know we are, like he said, almost merit. We've gotten good karmic seeds we've planted that we're here today. But this didn't just come out of nowhere. This is the child, maybe? This is the child of sort of the mother of Won Buddhism. So this is headquarters as well as a temple and retreat center. This is headquarters of Won Buddhism in the USA. However, we also have headquarters, our main headquarters in Korea. So in Iksan, Korea, there's headquarters. And there is some wonderful people planting more karmic seeds who are here visiting with us today. And they are the backbone of this headquarters, and we are very, very happy to have them here visiting with us. And I'd like to just let them come in and share something with us. They're all, you can see them in the back.
그 자리에서 일어나도 되실 것 같아요. 앞에 올 것까지는.
Reverend,
혹시
you will
한마디
translate.
하실 분은 앞에 나오시고.
Yay. Please give them a round of applause.
한 문장씩 하면 제가 통역할게요. Welcome. I'm very glad to see you.
네, 저희는 한국 익산 총부에서 왔습니다.
We came from Iksan City, where the Korean headquarters of One Buddhism is located.
네, TV나 다른 방송을 봤을 때 그 크리스찬들이 바티칸에 가서 교황을 뵙고 하는 모습들을 보는데
From time to time, I've watched on the television that many Christians visit Vatican in Italy in order to meet the Pope.
저희 원불교는 성지가 한국에 있어서 외국에 있는 교도들이 한국 성지에 와서 이렇게 종법사를 뵙고 하는 모습들을 보다가
But One Buddhism, the first sacred sites in One Buddhism is located in Korea, Iksan. So as a minister working on the campus of the headquarters, I've seen many foreigners, Americans come to headquarters.
저희가 이렇게 미국 총부에 와서 종법사님을 뵙고 현지에 이렇게 현지 교도님들을 배우니
So it's very refreshing and new that I, who stayed in Korean headquarters, come to the One Buddhism headquarters, USA, One Dharma Center, to see Juksa님 headquarters, the head Dharma master of One Buddhism of USA, as well as especially the American Dharma friends.
오늘 설법에도 말씀하셨지만 어떤 인연을 가지고 여기에 왔을까 하는 생각이 들었습니다.
So I was very curious about what karmic cause, what kind of a karmic seed brought you to come to the One Dharma as Americans.
여기에 계신 우리 현지 교도님들도 어떤 씨앗을 심어서 오늘 이 자리에 이렇게 원불교를 찾아서 오셨을까라는 생각도 들고 또 오늘 만난 이 씨앗이 어떤 열매로 맺을까 하는 기대도 듭니다.
So I'm also wondering as well, you, my American friends, what kind of a karmic seed or dharma bondage you have created in the past and in the future. This kind of a karmic seed will, what kind of a fruit in the future, I'm wondering.
오늘 이렇게 현지에 와서 여러분들을 만나니까 대종사님이 정말 위대하시다라는 생각이 다시 들고 앞으로 이 공부를 더 열심히 잘 해서 각자가 행복한 사람이 되었으면 하는 기대와 희망을 가져봅니다. 감사합니다.
So when I see you today at this One Dharma Hall, I once again realized how great our founding master as well as his teaching. I really become motivated once more to practice, to walk on the Dharma path in a more sincere, dedicated way. Thank you. 앉으세요.
I wish I could express in return how grateful we are for your dedication and practice that has brought us here and all the work you do. And they are traveling now. They'll be traveling to other temples throughout the U.S. So we're very, very grateful that you came to be with us. 감사합니다. So I have a few announcements to make. And the first one is just to let you know, if I didn't mention, is that all the donations today are actually going to be given to those who are suffering from the earthquakes in Venezuela. So this is to support anybody who has been affected by that. And we also have a retreat that I want to mention in July from the 30th to the 2nd, and that retreat is called Stillness in Action. So there's still space in that if you want to come and deepen your practice, plant some karmic seeds, please join that retreat. And the last but not least, please stay and join us after our service, which will probably happen about 11:15. No, maybe 11:20. We are going to have a deliverance service for Evelyn Bosler, who is the beloved mother to Jeff Bosler, one of our longtime practitioners. Dharma brothers and his family are here, so please come and join us in support of him, his family, and his deliverance of his mother. So let's conclude our practice today by singing the morning prayer song. And you can open your booklets to page 9. Dharma Kaya
Buddha, for grace. I begin a new day in your presence. Today full of airs and with peace of mind. May I walk along the paths of the Buddha. Dharma Kaya Buddha, for grace. I begin a new day with your grace. Today gratefully and with gentle words, may I live in harmony with all those I meet. Dharma Kaya Buddha, for grace. I begin a new day with compassion. Today making the world a more loving place. May I do all that I can for one earth.
Thank you for your practice. Have a wonderful week.